Put me in. We here, baby. Episode 2. Yes, sir. Season 1 is going in, man. Hey, very excited, very excited. Let's just get right into it. Good day, everyone. Today, my guest is no other than the myth, the legend, the GOAT, Marcus Paschal.
Put me in, coach.
Let's go. Hey, man, I got to give this dude a real big shout out because he gave me my first opportunity to coach on a high school level at Largo. It's year 2. Well, actually, this will be year 3. I appreciate that, man. Straight
no
love,
problem, man. You already know.
Yes, sir. We're going to get into it, man. I got a couple of questions to ask, and, we just going to dive right into it, man. Year 10. This will be year 10, right?
Don't even feel like it, but yep, year 10.
Year 10. So I know you had ups and downs, a lot of rebuilding. Rodriguez was the coach before you.
Yep.
Just explain how that transition went from his style to your style.
I think it was a seamless transition. Coach Rodriguez, he molded me to be the player that I was, and I always told him that I wanted to come back and replace him. Didn't expect it to be so soon, but I had prepared for this since I left high school. And so getting into it, I did 2 years with him. And then when he stepped down, I took over at 28 years old. I wasn't planning on taking over as a head coach so young. Yeah. But he thought I was the man for the job, and he anointed me to be his successor, and the rest is history. We definitely had some ups and downs, but we stayed a course, and we just went through having our best season under my tenure. Last year making to the third round of the playoffs. So It's a blessing.
Yes, sir. It was a good season, man. Yes, I was a part of that. Yeah. I want to know, what are some of the challenges you had to face?
Some of the challenges I had to face, believe it or not, probably the biggest challenge has been your own people. Born and raised here, right here at Largo. I'm blue and gold to the death, but those have been some of the biggest challenges, trying to keep the community and the parents all on one accord,
right.
Because some people, everybody doesn't see your vision, and I think that's the reason I came back, is to try to give back to my community and help those behind me. But some don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And my goal has been trying to instill in some of those things to help get these kids to the next level on and off the field, because these are things that I didn't have opportunity to learn at a young age. I kind of had to navigate it myself, where now they got guys in my position to be willing to come back and spread the knowledge, but we hard-headed, man, as a people, and so I think that's probably been my biggest challenge. You can put my resume up against anybody else in the county. I've did just as more or more than probably a lot of these guys with less resources, and I don't get those recognitions, and I'm not looking for get a pat on the back. I'm here for the kids. I think our kids know that year in and year out. You can't find another person that's put more kids into college than myself.
Cool.
And that's what it's all about. The wins will come. But it's about molding these young men for the future, and that's my priority. And I think, so answering your question, the biggest challenges has been our own people, just trying to be negative. And, I'm not perfect by no means.
Right.
And I'm just trying to help, get some of these kids the experiences that I was able to get, through the game of football.
Yes.
That's why we here on Put Me In, Coach. Let's get it.
Hell yeah. What was your happiest moment playing football?
Happiest moment playing football as a player,
as a player, or coaching, playing.
I've played the game since I was 9 years old, so I've been in some very amazing experiences as a player and as a coach. But I think what skyrocketed my career as a player is making a special teams tackle. That was my redshirt freshman year. I would say, running down on kickoff, and a lot of these days you see it, our kids don't want to play special teams, but, I was always the grinder and get in where you fit in. And I remember running down on a kickoff blasting the kick returner versus Michigan, and I threw the L's up, representing my hometown Largo, and we was on ESPN, and I think from there it opened the eyes of the Iowa coaches to give me a chance. And that next year I was a starter, ended up being a 3-year starter. So I think that probably stands out the most. I've had interceptions in the back of the end zone, took my helmet off, had the dread swinging, but I think that Michigan play, it really was the start of my career at the collegiate level, and it led me to be a 2-time All Big Ten safety. So that's probably the one that sticks out to me.
Ooh, that's big. That's big right there. You touched on this earlier, but we had, you said this season, that past season was the best season you had at Largo. A lot of people counted us out, and I think it's because of that not Jesuit, but the Calvary spring game.
Yeah.
We heard a lot of negative things about that. What you want to hit on that? What was the transformation? Was that loss to Jesuit something you had to go back in and say, hey, man, I'm finna go back in the kitchen?
Yeah, I think it was. Losing to Calvary like we did in that spring game, it really gave me an opportunity to reflect. Not just as a coach, but as a person. And I think I tell people all the time, the difference between this year season, we've always been all in X's and O's for the kids, but I think I was a better man, off the field, outside of football, because, those first 8 years, I would let things get to me, the negativity,
right?
And I would beat myself down of how can I be better? What can I do different? And it came a point in time, it was like, look, I'm giving everything I can, and so ultimately it's going to have to be the kids to buy in and surround myself with good people, good staff members. And I think that was the difference. And it motivated us over the summer. We had a phenomenal summer, going over to some of the camps at the Bucks and things of that nature, doing great things with the 7-on-7, and then it went into the regular season. So I think ultimately it was a gut check for me, because I felt we were way better than what we put on display, and it was an opportunity to reflect and just let me know, I was working my tail off, but ultimately I can't do everything, and it's gonna have to be responsibility on these kids, and they bought in, even a lot of our kids hear a lot of negativity on the outside, but I think they did a good job of having tunnel vision and blocking out some of the naysayers. When years past, they would let that roll into our locker room. And so we would be fighting against them, trying to keep them on the right track. But I think this year we didn't have too much of that. And I think the proof is in the pudding on the type of season we just had.
Heck yeah, man. It was a blast, man. I was so energetic every game, and it was wonderful. Hey, we finna hit a quick commercial break. I'll see you back in 30.
Put me in, coach.
Yes, sir.
Oh, the power of the sun. How environment friendly are your devices? Off the grid, you need sustainability. Go solar. Go green. Go Solar Ray. SolarRayShop.com.
We back. All right, we're going to dive right into it with the head coach, Largo, Marcus Paschal. Big leaders like Zay, Rick, Fotu, they leaving. I want to know who's up.
Man, those are big shoes to fill, and every year, I don't think I've never had to go through a rebuilding process. It's always, we always got some young pups in the kennel just waiting their turn. I think that's the amazing thing about our program. We have good kids, unselfish kids that, other places they probably could have played a lot earlier, but they respected their role. So when you talk about a guy like Xavier McCluster, like that's going to be tough. We got to figure it out. You got young guys in the program like a Travis. We got Zay Jones. So we got some guys that's ready to compete. And so we'll see. And I think that's what spring football is all about.
Right.
You got some guys that's ready.
Yeah.
They got some limited minutes last year. Now they like, it's my turn to eat. And they going to be hungry. And they've been getting after it. And then a kid like Fotu and then Rick, it's gonna be tough. I don't know. We gotta see. We got some guys that's on campus that's, like I said about the others, they're hungry. And so when we get in the pads in spring football and start throwing the ball around, I think the cream will rise to the top. Rick did a lot of things for us defensively, whether it's corner, safety, shoot, late in the season, he played outside backer. So it's kind of, to find somebody with that versatility this year, we probably won't do it. It's going to have to be a kid that can come in and play a corner or play just a safety. But we won't be able to find a kid that can do all three spots year one post Ricky Shaw. Yeah.
How do we get over that hump, that third round hump, man? Because, we got them Tampa teams, they hyped about 7-2-7. We never won the ship.
Yep.
We never get over third round. Hillsborough got us by our necks. What we need to do as a whole, Largo High, Pinellas County, what we have to do. What do you think?
It's tough, man. And every year the goal is to compete and win a state championship, but it's never been done in Pinellas County. And the thing is, it's going to be very hard to do it, just because the cards that are dealt to us within Pinellas County. When I say that, we got schools on top of schools.
Yes.
These schools that are winning and competing for state championships, they're either private, where they go get who they want, which we don't have that luxury as a public school. And then on top of that, these teams that are winning state championships, they could pick the litter in their area, and so it's going to be hard, but every year we come in, that's the goal, district, try to fight to get through that region final, and then that final goal is to hoist that trophy and be a state champion. So I don't have the answers, and I think it's gonna be hard. Definitely. I would like to say in the near future, hopefully Pinellas County could bring one. If it doesn't necessarily have to be myself, just anybody in general, because we got some good coaches in the area doing some great things. It all has to fall in place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. We'll get there, man. We'll get there. I promise you that. We're going to hoist that trophy. Hey. Next question. Hayes just committed to UF, man. I'm a Florida State fan, man. I got my nephew, LT, at Florida State. Now I got my dog at UF, man. Shine some light on that.
He's been wanting it for a while,
Yeah.
So I'm proud of him. I'm fortunate that I've been a part of that process from day one. And hats off to him and his family. His mom and dad are great people. And they're utilizing me like I envisioned, trying to be there for everybody else that comes through the program. They don't mind asking questions and taking my advice to aid them in this journey. And it's just getting started, So, but everybody knows, if you've ever seen him, a big time player.
Yes.
I tell my wife all the time, kid is a unicorn. You don't find kids with that length that can bend and run and hit like he wants to hit.
Man 24, yes.
Hit man 24. And that's the thing. and he takes it. He different.
Yeah.
This day and age where the game is changing. And is less contact being involved with it. You don't find kids these days that want to deliver those type of blows, but that's him.
Yes.
He's seeking contact out, and that's what you need when you playing Mike Backer, so I'm excited for him. He had everybody in the country after him, but ultimately, he feels happy with being a Gator, so I'm here to support.
Definitely. Good deal, Hayes, man. I'm proud of you, man. That kid, he was the first one that said, Coach, I need some merch.
Yeah.
Put me in, Coach. I need. Yeah. I was like, what? Oh, here you go, man. So yeah, that's a good kid, great kid. My daughter love him. He interact with kids well, so he's the perfect person for that role. I can see him doing big things in his life. Very humble kid. We spoke earlier about that's why you the GOAT. That's why they know you the GOAT. You put a lot of kids into colleges. What's your formula getting kids to the next level? You don't have to tell the deep secrets, but
it ain't no deep secret. The thing is relationships. And you done been around me, and outside of the program, they've seen what I did on the college level. Yes, I played 5 years professionally, but there's no secret in building relationships. When I took over the program here at Largo High, the whole administration was kind of blown away that John Harbaugh sent me a letter of recommendation. The head coach at the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm a big fan and believer of, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know.
Yes, sir.
So I'm not perfect. I'm not better than nobody, but I put my contacts up versus anybody. Like, I know people, and that's the thing. And I preach to our kids, you come in and take care of your business. I don't mind calling somebody and putting a word in for you, and we get the most traffic in the county. And it's not just about like Hayes. Hayes is a 4-star recruit, but we've been doing this.
Yeah.
It didn't just start when he got here.
Right. Yes.
I've been doing this. And so that's the thing. But I see all the posts and stuff about these head coaches on campuses. I started that. 28 years old. You look back and do your research, and I'm not the type of guy that come out and say, look at me. But now it's kind of like, it gets to a point where, put some respect on my name.
Right.
Like, I started this.
Yes.
Whether it's you go back, a lot of these things that's going on with the high school, 7-on-7, check and do your research. Paschal free youth weekends, I was having 7-on-7s, tournaments, inviting high school teams.
Wow.
So when you look back in the George Campbells, the Tay Scotts, Jawan Browns,
Right.
they was at Paschal free youth weekends doing 7-on-7 with their high school teams. I've never once, but look,
Right.
I was a part of all of these changes coming in Pinellas County. I was there, and just, so I think the formula is just being a good dude, building those relationships. And guys stop by my campus all the time, may not even be recruiting my kid, but asking me, who do I think is worthy of going to be recruited, and I'm a straight shooter. And some people view that as a negative, but I'm not gonna lie for you, because if I lie and tell a coach that you can go to the next level and do these things, and then you don't do it, or you're not the player that I told them, it screws it up for a player in the future.
Right.
So and everybody has their place, and so I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm honest with my parents. Everybody can't be D1.
Definitely.
There's nothing wrong with that.
At all.
The end goal is to go get a free education. So if I can help you get D2 or whatever, to get a free education while playing and using your athletic ability, that's my part in this. And so I think my formula is just, I've always been a student of the game and gained a lot of relationships through this game of football, because a lot of these college coaches, they either played with me, played against me, or coached against me, and so that's the thing. These conversations I'm having, it isn't a professional relationship. It's not a coach calling a coach.
Okay.
It's a friend calling a friend.
Gotcha.
They calling me, man, I remember when you was at Iowa or do this, and you always been a knowledgeable guy. What do you think about this dude? And I think that's the secret to success, building those relationships.
You got it. Hey, told you how it is. Real talk. Do you keep in contact with your old players?
I try, and it's tough. And this was a part of, that's a part of me, getting down on myself sometimes, because you got to think, when these kids come in, they're 14, 15-year-old ninth graders,
Right.
And we're molding them to be young men. And as they grow, some have success, some don't. But for the most part, I try to. But it's so many. I've been, like you said, it's about to be year 10. I've had so many kids come through, and I always try to let them know, I'm always here if they need to call me. My number hasn't changed since I've been in Iowa City. Oh. So I've had the same cell phone number for years. But the thing is, I'm only one person, and so on one side of it, I say, yes, I try to, but on the other side, I can't keep up with all of them. And so some of them, I feel like once they do branch out and leave, they feel, oh, I'm grown. I don't need to reach back out to coach and pick his brain. When I leave the door open, I would love that. I would love to have those opportunities, to have conversations with some of the players that's left and went on. But for whatever reasons. Maybe they don't feel comfortable, or whether it's an embarrassment, like I'm grown, I should know how to figure this thing out. But you can't do everything on your own.
Definitely not.
So you always need different people that's done traveled that path, or people that you look to get some advice and build from there.
Okay, I got it. What are you not tolerating, on and off the field from players?
I'm not tolerating any disrespect.
They ain't tolerating no disrespect.
Like, that's one thing about me. Like, I'm very laid back. I'm a player's coach. When I first took over behind Rodriguez, I was kind of like, this is how we gonna do it. And then it got to the point, like, and you done heard me say, I want my players to let their personality show in their game. I'm not coaching robots. I want Ricky Shaw to be Ricky Shaw. Ricky Shaw is not going to be the same person as Paschal is going to be. Everybody is different, but that's definitely one thing I won't tolerate is disrespect. And, and I don't care if you a 5-star recruit or you the bottom of the roster.
Right.
Everybody deserves respect. I'll never disrespect a kid. I will always, I coach tough. I'm a tough guy to play for. Yeah. Because I want to see all these kids be successful. And some view my tough coaching as a negative when I'm just trying to, if I'm not hard on these kids, the world are gonna eat them up. Oh yeah. And so I'm tough on them. It's tough love. And that gets in my household. If anybody ever been around me and my kids, how I coach everybody else's kids, I'm the same way with my kids.
Right.
I'm
if
honest.
not even tougher.
Yes, I'm honest with them. I ain't sugarcoating nothing. If you want to do this is what you're gonna have to do. And so I think that's the main thing I won't tolerate, disrespect. I don't care if you ain't a good athlete. You give me what you got, but we ain't gonna tolerate disrespect.
Definitely not. What are your strengths as it relates to academics?
I've learned the ins and outs of that NCAA clearinghouse, being that I was once a scholar athlete myself. So I think my strengths, and I do a lot of it, is helping our guidance counselors, making sure that these kids in the right classes. I can't do everything, and that's kind of not my job, but I go outside the realm of trying to make sure the kids that want an opportunity to go to the next level, to put them on the right track, whether it's letting them know what classes they need to take to be eligible to even get some of these scholarships and, and that things of that nature. So I think just knowing the ins and outs of the NCAA clearinghouse and being, I've worked with it so much, and kids qualifying and kids not qualifying, I think that's a strength of mine.
Okay. Yeah, because that's big. You have a lot of coaches, they just want the players to be there and perform and do all that stuff. But when it comes to them getting to the next level, they ghost.
Yeah,
quiet.
And that's sad. Every year, I was just having a conversation with someone a little earlier today. There's so many great athletes in the county. And I probably get so much negativity talked bad about me. But after every season, I get some of these parents reaching out to me, asking me to help get their kids into school. And it's like, well, you trust me to reach out and use my contacts, but I wasn't a good enough coach for them to come play for me. Right. So we can build a plan together and get them to the next level. But you want to come on the back end, and now that you realize this guy that you thought was working for your kid, but he wasn't. He was just using them.
Exactly.
So
had to learn.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody gotta learn.
Yeah.
Hey man, I have no more questions. That's it. That's all. But
off the hot seat.
Yeah, off the hot seat. Everything good. Copacetic. I like to end like I told you I was some crank, man.
What you got?
Hey, cha-cha.
Hey.
Okay.
And we talked about this at Largo in our little group chat.
Yeah. Hey, who is Pat, baby? Hey.
Is Pat.
Hey, what? Hey, woo. Hey, who? My dog said
I wake up motivated. You better let him know, man. Everything I do, man.
What?
Like, prime that seriously.
Talk that. Talk it. Hey.
Tell him. I got time today. We got kids all over the place.
All over
the country.
Hey.
And it's just the beginning.
What?
Year 10.
Hey, woo, he got time today. Hey, tell him. Hey,
If we ain't packed.
hey,
Who is the pack?
crank it.
If I ain't the pack.
That's what. That's
Who
what
is the pack?
Hey,
If I ain't the pack.
hey,
Who is swag? If I ain't swag.
woo,
Who
is swag, baby? Who is swag? Hey, you
Who
see,
is?
you see all this up here, man? It's Largo, man. It was only right to get my dog up here. He gave me my first shot, coaching at the high school level, man. So, hey, he gonna have to talk his ish, because guess what, man? My dog is here. Hey, he ain't going nowhere. He
Nowhere.
finna let y'all know he goated, man. Hey,
is swag?
hey, if he ain't back, hey, who is the pack? Hey.
If I ain't swag.
Yes, sir. All right. Hey, I have guests, you know, when they come on, I want them to start hang things up on the wall, you know, anywhere they want to, you know. This is what it's going to be. It's the basement. Like Tigger said, live in the basement. They ain't going to do signatures, but they're going to post it up. So, hey.
So this throwback.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
Got that Iowa.
about to be 39. You know, so a lot of these guys don't realize, but back in the day, Coach used to be somewhat of a decent player. So this is when I went to the All Big Ten luncheon as one of the captains for the Hawks. So we're gonna go ahead and leave this here.
Yeah.
Put me in, Coach.
Bam. Okay. There we go, man. There you have it.
Defensive back, Largo, Florida.
Let's go, man. Let's go. Hey, man, I love y'all. Thanks for being on my second episode of Put Me In, Coach. We got many to go. Who is going to be on next?
Make sure y'all go subscribe, man.
Yes, sir. Please hit that like, share, do all that stuff. We got to grow, man. We got to grow. I want to be live. I want to do all this stuff. So I need y'all, you know, to help me out. You know, don't be like we said on the show, you know, support, because I support y'all and I love y'all, and let's do this, man. We out.